you're looking for a room, you want the 4 shields.
Working hard gives a man reason for drinking hard. Well, that and putting up with a wife like mine. Damn right it has. Demand's never been so high. At least not since I built the new mill. Hard to say. It's ancient. That much we know for sure. It was here long before the town itself. I just hope the bridge survives the war. It's the only place you can cross the Karth River for a long way in either direction. Could be if one side wants to keep the other from coming across. They might try to knock it down. Her name's Olda. If you've met her, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. I swear that woman is the most spiteful shrew in all of Skyrim. I think there's a chunk of ice where her heart ought to be. Until next time.
You look like you've seen your share of adventure. It's no easy thing to make a living in the wilds of Skyrim.
I could tell just looking at you.
The view of the river is spectacular. The Dragon Bridge is not as large as I imagined. I guess not everything can be as grand as Zora's Field.
Keep walking, stranger.
Exactly what I'm thinking, Scrap. Oh, great. What was I thinking about?
Rebels better not try coming to Hoffingard. By all I hold sacred, that's a shout. Like the Greybeards on their mountain.
Tell me, traveler, do you have any regrets? Of course you do. We all do. They say regrets are the foundation of wisdom, for if we do not regret our mistakes, we are damned to repeat them. Our successes, meanwhile, need not to be remembered, for they only serve to bolster our temerity. That is why a general is haunted not by his victories in the battlefield, but those that slip from his grasp. When you value trivial things, you yourself will become trivial when those qualities fade. But I suppose even then you can cling to the lifeboat of denial. I can do no such thing. I will not grasp for air while I lie at the bottom of this trench. A thief, the one that got away, an Imperial woman based on the reports, and a lone operative. She's burglarized homes of a number of notable lords, thanes, and
It's so
nobles.
compelling to look at.
At times, she's even ransomed their children. She's outfoxed the city guards, evaded the Archaeologists, and even managed to rankle prominent members of the Thieves' Guild. Unfortunately, the resources of the Empire exhausted in tracking her down, forced the Elder Council to suspend all pursuit. Given the state of the Imperial coffers, it was cheaper to let her run free and compensate the grief for their losses. Only I remain dedicated to the cause of justice, and what I lack in men and resources, I make up for in will. I've chased her across Tamriel for the last 15 years, and I believe I'm closer than ever to catching her. I'm not sure what I find more incredulous, that you were a thief, or that you'd advertise this fact in the office of the Penitus Saculatus. Either way, you're not my problem any longer. I'm retired. It's the only way I can pursue this case without being reprimanded by my superiors. Life is easy when your goals are small. When your goals are large, the problem comes not from failure, but from your inability to cope with it. Whether you reach for the stars or plow the earth, don't let the task consume you. If only I could take such sage advice. A favor from Commander Morrow. He owed me from back when he was an initiate, and I was his inspector. More like what didn't happen. Commanders like Morrow may seem like hard, unyielding men, and there is certainly that side to them. There is also the side that is a caring father, the loving husband and humble servant of the Empire. The side of kindness is something that is almost innate. Even as children, we know the value of friendship, empathy, and love. The other side, the one that makes you a man, that must be forged through a crucible of blood, sacrifice, and at times, even apathy. It may surprise you to find out that the initiation for both the Dark Brotherhood and the Penitus Saculatus are one and the same. Both ask their initiates to shed the blood of a stranger as proof of their fealty, their mettle, and willingness to do the hard thing. When first presented with this task, Commander Morrow faltered, as do all men of conscience. It was then that I broke the rules. I told him who the target was, or more precisely what he was. Not necessarily. It is left up to the discretion of the inspector to choose the targets. Although I tended to choose mortals who were louts, thieves, and deviants, there were other inspectors who felt that defeated the purpose. After all, an assassin must be able to kill those whose morality is ambiguous, or possibly even leaning towards the scales of good. So it was our responsibility to create at the very minimum the idea that the targets were honest men. Some inspectors choose to forego the mirage. It is as you might expect. Recruits are chosen for various positions and given tasks to determine their aptitude and readiness. Ironically, before he became Chief of Security, Commander Morrow was originally recruited as an assassin. In the Penitus Saculatus, the assassin is merely a tool. He's required to kill without questioning his orders. This is because the most dangerous of enemies typically come from within. The very advisors the Emperor trusts most are the ones likely to betray him. Withdrawal of power is a form of skooma that corrupts even the best of us. The assassin is the potion that purges it from the system. As such, he is often asked to target the very people he takes orders from, in order to serve the will of the only person he answers to. The life of an assassin is far from pleasant, which is why when Morrow became a father, he chose a new path. True enough, there is much misconception that the Penitus Saculatus acting as a security force implies being strictly defensive unit. On the contrary, The best way to stop an assassination is to root out the conspirators before their
I'm not
plans
great
take
at keeping
form.
up on current events.
As an former assassin,
feel that other things
Commander
are more
Morrow had
important.
the advantage of knowing how the
Uncovering
enemy
the secrets
operates,
of
and
Aetherius,
that is
for
why he was
example.
chosen as the chief security agent. Very well. They say when dealing with others, you have to know when to use the carrot and when to use the stick. Yet by when, they really mean on whom. I think the word when is rather appropriate. There's more than just differences from person to person. People themselves can have very different personalities depending on the time of day. You never want to berate your spouse, for instance, first thing in the morning. Olda seems to neglect this advice. I do. It's been burned into the bone of my skull from sketches and wanted posters and images from another time. A raven-haired woman, 32 years of age, with an aquiline nose and eyes the color of steel. She is as fearsome as an orc, but can be as cunning as a diplomat, and if need be, can charm me with the grace of a sylph. What are you implying? One cannot evade the Penitus Oculatus and not earn a measure of respect, and one cannot defy them without earning their wrath. I am a soldier, sworn in the service of the Penitus Oculatus, sworn to uphold the law. If someone breaks the law, it matters not whether they are the Raven of Anvil or the Emperor's own kin. They are all criminal scum. Not necessarily. Anvil is merely the site of our first great heist, one under the guise of a minstrel singing dirges for the dead. Hence the Raven of Anvil. There have been several witnesses' accounts of a raven-haired thief posing as a bard. As you know, most who reside here are light of hair and tall in stature, which already narrows down the list of possible culprits. And while there are bards in Skyrim from here to
I've
Riften,
always been a night owl.
there is only one capable of playing that song. Dusk at Anvil Harbor was its name, if I call it correctly. A beautiful but solemn tune about the sunset over the Gold Coast and the tragic death of a loved one. The Countess's cousin had passed away, and she was now on her 12th day of mourning. She refused to eat and refused to sleep. Soon her court was deprived of the same. As her mood grew more and more contemptuous, it seemed nothing would allay her grief. Many bards and poets came from all over Tamriel to celebrate the life of a cousin, in hopes of appeasing the Countess. Yet it seemed that even time itself had given up all hope, until the day a raven-haired minstrel walked into the castle and gently strummed her lute. Those who were in attendance insisted that it was the saddest song ever heard by mortal ears. They claimed the sky rained for 7 days and 7 nights, as both the Countess and the Divines exhausted all the tears. That night, the entire court slept for the first time in weeks, and when they awoke, they found their cases and coffers emptied of their valuables. She was not always as such. When she was a small child, she was so bright and would protect those who were weak from their folly. Oh, but you were referring to the Countess, as was I. Retired or not, my allegiance lies with the Empire, and I will not tolerate such groundless assaults on my character. I suggest you turn around and leave from whence you came. Good day. What do you need?
Citizen?
The Penitus Oculatus, bodyguards of the Emperor. If you're companions of a former militia, I hope you put me in charge of designing the uniforms.
You there. Heed my request. It'll only take a moment of your time. For what I ask plain. If you're a bard, for your own sake, do not sing, for your voice cannot compare to mine. Undoubtedly, these snot-bearing rags have collected their fair share of slime, but I've received no complaints from the company I've sought. That's right. Although I wasn't always a handsome bard, I used to be a handsome adventurer, and before that I was just handsome. Unfortunately, my adventuring days came to an end after I nearly lost my life in a scuffle with a group of bandits known as the Silver Hand. After that, I figured it wasn't worth it. Sure, I was a damn good fighter. The best. But I was damn near good at everything else, too. I owed it to this world to keep me alive. I can't even begin to imagine what sort of Daedric nightmare Skyrim would be if I didn't exist. The humblest of births, but someday, the most glorious of ends. That is, if someone like myself is even capable of dying. I'm not entirely sure. Yet I am indeed a far cry from the life my mother sought to raise me in, when she was but a handmaiden working in Dragon's Reach. In my childhood, I grew up around nobles, thanes, and highborn lords, sworn to the servant's oath, to perform one's duty and to go unnoticed. Indeed, only I can think of nothing more dreadful than going unnoticed. You see, I've always longed for attention, yearned for it, craved it. And there is no purer attention, no higher appraisal of one's worth than the giving of applause. That's what I played for. The last pluck of a lute string and the faint echo of silence before the crowd roars in appreciation. I played for both the silence and the roar, the anticipation and the climax. The moments that seem to go on forever, and yet are never long enough. Some think it was a voice born to tell stories, or one meant to lead men into battle. Others contend my very throat was forged by dragonfire. I've heard some describe it like a bottle of hard whiskey and boiled potatoes, like smoke misting off hot coals. Most tell me it's a voice that carries with it a sense of authority, a voice fit for a king. I do nothing to dissuade such accusations. Now imagine this regal, manly voice of mine singing all the bard's favorites. My patrons from here to Riften will come to this inn to hear it. Yet despite me doubling her business, Vaida insists on charging me for a room. Such greed is unbecoming. It happened in an inn, not unlike this one, where I met this lovely tavern wench, a bit chubby, but on the voluptuous side of fat. I could have charmed and cajoled her, but I've always been the type to show rather than tell. So I showed her just exactly how her previous lovers had failed her. Unfortunately, my favorite thrusts were such that she accused me of turning into a beast during the height of my passion. Literally. To be specific, She said I was a werewolf. When rumors spread around of my transformation, I became a target of the Silver Hand. That wench made the coffin maker a lot of money that day, with all the men I was now forced to kill. I'm beginning to think the two were kin. Your words can mock me, but your cowardly face serves as its own retort. Of course, you can try to change it, but it will do no good. You can narrow your eyes and bare your teeth, but you forget I am a bard, and I can hear the subtle trill in your voice. It tells me you are afraid, but considering how magnificent I am, you have every reason to be. You remind me of that poor Breton imp. He's an old acquaintance of mine. Joined up with wolf hunters just so he could have a chance to kill me. As if I could be killed. In fact, the little carrot licker's been trying to kill me for more than a dozen years now, back when my balls had more fur than his chin. You'll have to ask him. I haven't the faintest idea. Probably fell in love with me or something, seeing as I have that effect on women and men. All I know is, wherever I go, he manages to show up. We fought with swords, bare knuckles, knives, bows, and scrolls. We fought in the snow, in caves, in taverns, and on horseback. We fought alone, with companions, on opposite sides of the war. The one place he doesn't like to fight is out in the sun. I think it's because he's a bloody vampire. Now that I'm a bard, he'll likely become a writer so he can document his lies in books while I immortalize the truth in song. How should I know? He told it to me once. Shouted it at me, really. But I couldn't be bothered to remember such an insignificant detail. You'll likely find him wherever it is filthy skeevers like to congregate. And my name will most assuredly be the first word out of his mouth. I remember bits and pieces. A few stories here and there, but I can hardly keep a ledger. If you want the details, you will have to ask him. I can't be expected to recall events that are so unworthy of my memories. You're right, but only because they happened at the end of the wars we were fighting. We were there when the Jarl of Markarth surrendered to Madanach, and when Madanach surrendered to Ulfric. We were supposed to be witnesses to the peace accord, but ended up fighting in the Hall of the Dead while the others were in the keep. It was he who initiated both duels. I would never do something so undignified given the circumstances. As the clash of swords tend to echo in those spacious dwarven ruins, we were limited to bows. Of course, I was working with a handicap. After nearly escaping the first duel, the second time the Breton swine came prepared with poison-tipped arrows and 3 red potions tied to his belt. So in effect, to succeed, I would have to kill him 4 times. I only managed 3 before I ran out of arrows. If you're that interested in my exploits, I'm sure I can drudge up a few details. Let's see. I believe it was a stormy night in Whiterun, and travelers from across the hold crammed themselves into the Bannered Mare. I remember being confronted by a child dressed from head to toe in steel. Only upon removing his helmet he revealed himself as the Breton. In the interest of sport, I offered to allow him to duel me on horseback, while I fought blindfolded. It was the only way to even the odds. We settled on mounted combat. which I accepted knowing that he had already bribed Skulvar into giving him the superior horse. The rain continued to pour that night, our horses trundling through the mud. It was his opinion that the vast tundra would make for a fine arena. I could barely see through the blades of water that whipped into our eyes as he positioned his steed 100 horse lengths from mine. We were to charge at the sound of his companion's horn, and when it blared, I flew. I flew through the storm like a mighty chariot, hassles of water fleeing about in my wake. I felt the elements swirling around me, focusing their energy into my axe. I knew then the Breton would die that day. Only the little imp was nowhere to be found. I assumed he had fled. That would have been the sensible thing. When I found him lying in the mud, his horse having slipped and broken both their legs, he blamed me, of course, for sabotaging his horse. What does he think? I used some sort of mind control on the beast? I wouldn't put it past me, but it's not a power I possess. I am inclined to believe it was his companion that brought him a lame horse, in order to salvage the little imp's life. Yes, perhaps I do recall some of it. It was in Riften, I think, at the turn of the century, on the eve of the New Life Festival. We were all in a drunken revelry when these two elves got into an argument because one of them refused to dance with the other's sister. Then the one elf says to the other, "If your sister looks anything like you, I'd rather bet an orc." Then an orc woman rises from her chair and yells some sort of curse before smashing a flagon across his nose. Indeed. Pretty soon the whole place is an all-out brawl. That's when I felt a tap on the shoulder. My instincts were to turn and duck. Too bad the Breton was aiming for my neck. The little imp ended up shaving my scalp. "How much did you pay those elves to start this?" I asked him. He said he didn't have to pay them anything. When he told them the plan was to kill me, he said they offered to do it for free. An obvious lie, of course.
Oh, that's genius, Remy. Write that down, write that down.
Indeed. Again, you're better off asking him. If we both stay at this inn long enough, you might be unlucky enough to meet him. Of course you would. Tell me, with what song shall I escort you to the heavens? Ah, the good request.
Can't wait to kill another of Ulfric's boys.
Tell me, do you think I'm attractive? And an answer like that is as good as saying no. Except that can't possibly be right, because I'm a ravishing beauty, and we both know it. Only if you did know it, you would have answered yes right away, which must mean you're jealous and don't want to admit you wish you were me. Which reminds me of a certain high elf I hate so much. When the guild I belonged to last met, Nelos instructed us to refrain from contact for the time being. I suspected this might be some clever attempt for him and Alduin to escape on some tryst, which neither I nor the laws of decency could abide by. So I followed Nelos to Harthinger, but only got as far as Dragonbridge before I lost track of him. I wait here now in hopes that he might return, and in fear that she will be with him when he does. Alduin is my arch enemy, my nemesis in love. Nelos is always talking to her, confiding in her, when he should be doing those things with me. It makes no sense why he prefers her company. Unlike that Somerset I saw, I'm a fellow Dunmer. Not to mention I'm cuter, funnier, and by far the more talented mage. And the worst part is they just met. How can he value the counsel of that drunk over his companion of 5 years? That only serves to validate my point. The stupid Altmer bitch doesn't love Nelos. Meanwhile, I can't go 2 sentences without mentioning him. It doesn't surprise me. If I had as much hair on my back as she did, I'd probably fancy a Khajiit. When the guild I belonged to last met, Nelos instructed us to refrain from contact for the time being. I suspected this might be some clever attempt for him and Alduin to escape on some tryst, which neither I nor the laws of decency could abide by. So I followed Nelos to Harthinger, but only got as far as Dragonbridge before I lost track of him. I wait here now in hopes that he might return, and in fear that she will be with him when he does. I am, and I'll have you know it wasn't all talent. I worked very hard to become the mage I am, a mage not everyone thought I could be. I still remember when I was but a novice at the college. Whenever I cast a distraction spell, everyone would comment on what a good enchanter I was. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think they were insulting me. Although, to be fair, I am a good enchanter. The best. Yes, but I found where I truly excel is with spells of frost and cold. I was in the Arcaneum studying a tome on that very subject when I first met Nelos. He looked so menacing with that lick of hair and blades of war paint slashed across his face, yet his voice was gentle. He asked me if I understood the tome I read. I could only nod what remained of my head as my body melted into the floor. His questions turned out to be a sort of audition, one that I naturally passed with flying colours, despite Nelos having sailed under false ones. Nelos recognised my talent for destruction and chose to cultivate it, whereas Mirabelle wanted me to train under the Master Enchanter. Of course, he wouldn't accept me into his guild without first passing 3 additional tests. The first was to still his heart, the second was to make him smile, and the third was to take his breath away. Okay, so maybe those tests were self-imposed, but I still plan on passing them. There's no way to be certain why the Divines blessed me with such a specific gift, but I do know how. You see, fire scorches and lightning shocks, but ice is a paradox, for it can both destroy and preserve. In fact, my grandmother once believed frost magic was the key to eternal youth. Well, the old bat thought if she slowed the heart and the body, she could slow the aging process itself. Every day she cast frost spells on herself, trying to delay the appointment the wrinkles had with her neck. yet it only left her skin cracked and dry and whiter than a Nord's. She was a living ghost. Soon her health began to fail, and she no longer could muster up the magicka for her daily treatment. That's when she bought me a tome on frostbite. She was completely mad, of course. Should a child always listen to her elders? Was it wrong for me to end her miserable existence? Those spells restore the body to their natural state. Aging is natural, death is natural, so restoration would only undo what the frost had done. In this instance, it might have saved her life, but it would not have made her young. Now, frost spells, they will undoubtedly kill you as they killed her. On the other hand, her corpse is very well preserved. It was a book recommended to me by the librarian's apprentice on the nature of destruction magic. While some schools attempt to mimic reality and others try to alter it, it was unclear whether destruction was doing one or the other. When you harness the elements, do you draw them from nature or manifest them? When heat is drawn to make fire, does the air lose warmth? Much of this was explained to me by Nalos. Not that I needed him to. I understood it just fine. I just wanted to hear his voice. In any case, he told me how the answer lies in the beasts of the wild and the world around us. When plants fail to grow in mage light, it's proof alteration is not natural. When the invisible can be touched, it proves that illusion is not real. Then look at the way catfish come to the surface when the earth is about to quake, or how rodents scurry indoors days before winter. Nature knows what's real, and it will react to a coming storm in the same fashion, whether it made by mortals or gods. Arguably the greatest mage in all of Tamriel, but when it comes to who is most dashing, I will tolerate no argument. He is a Dunmer of average height, but immeasurable stature, his eyes burning with the fire of the Red Mountain itself. For all those who serve the guild, he is our leader, our mentor, our muse. He is the hand and we are the fingers, waiting for the long night when we clutch all of Nirn in our palm. We are a small group of mages, whose ideals do not always align with the 100 or so guilds that now roam Tamriel in place of the one. The Synod is too political, the College of Whispers is too short-sighted, the Sishiks are too close-minded, and let's face it, Winterhold is a wreck. The Radiant Dark is open to all who possess skill with magic, whether the light you cast shines brightly or darkly. Those who have power seek it, not for politics or justice, knowledge or peace, but for power itself. So you can't just ask to be in the guild. Nalos has to select you, and he has a very discerning eye. Elduin may have the face of a slaughterfish, but her hands know fire better than her mouth knows wine. Gerard may ramble on like a fool, but his talent for alteration can bend city walls as easily as it bends spoons. And this does not even include the 5 acolytes of Nalos's personal guard, one for each school of magic. When they recover the knowledge that was lost, we will be that much closer to the day of the long night. The one written on the face of all who fear us, for Nalos himself wrote it. I've often thought of how it will come, dreamt of it. Imagine a cool winter night, when the only sound you hear is the wind threading through the trees. The sort of nights made for long shadows and dark phantoms, for quick daggers and hot blood. A night born for unholy rituals, hushed whispers, and shivers down the spine of children and men. A night when the end of all things is possible. A wonderful night to have a curse. As I said, we at the Radiant Dark seek only power and the means to exercise it. What good is ice without something to cool? How can the extent of one's power be tested without a land to dominate? When the spells that were lost are found, when the relics of forgotten magic are restored, not even the sun itself will bring light to our shadow. Or not. It may be that we fly too close to the gods and burn in their fire. Yet I, for one, plan on keeping my Nalos nice and cool. Alduin is my arch enemy, my nemesis in love. Nalos is always talking to her, confiding in her, when he should be doing those things with me. It makes no sense why he prefers her company. Unlike that Somerset I saw, I'm a fellow Dwemer. Not to mention I'm cuter, funnier, and by far the more talented mage. And the worst part is they just met. How can he value the counsel of that drunk over his companion of 5 years? You're cute for a Slode, my lady, but you are not my Nalos. I am. I still remember. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think they were insulting me. Yes, but I found where I truly excel is with spells of frost and cold. I was in the Arcaneum studying a tome on that very subject when I first met Nalos. He looked so menacing with that lick of hair and blades of war paint slashed across his face, yet his voice was gentle. He asked me if I understood the tome I read. I could only nod what remained of my head as my body melted into the floor. His questions turned out to be a sort of audition, one that I naturally passed with flying colours, despite Nalos having sailed under false ones. Spoken like someone who has no idea what they're missing. I bet you've never felt the tingle of lightning spells, or the hot breath of a fireball on the back of your palms. But no feeling can ever equate to the cold blue blast of air on your skin, fresh and clean as the morning dew. I am. I still remember. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think they were insulting me. Yes, but I found where I was in the Arcaneum. He looked so... He asked me if I... His question, despite Nalos having sailed under false ones. An institution that cared more about itself than its students. Perhaps if I was some ancient relic or magical staff, the professors might have actually bothered to recognize my existence. The only one who did stop to notice me was that old lech Sergius. His attention was not the kind I wanted, however, even if it was inevitable. Such are the perils of beauty. Males want and repeatedly ask for that which they do not deserve. Away with you!
Make it quick.
What is it?
They say there's a part here who looks like a bandit. I wonder if he knows Springtime in Old Strasum Kai.
Something on your mind? Of course you would. Tell me, with what song shall I escort you to the heavens? An excellent
Lorcan is said
request.
to have created Nirn. Who created Lorcan? And who created whoever created Lorcan?
I knew myself a maiden fair with emerald eyes and fire-red hair. She owned a tavern by the sea and served warm drinks of mellow honey. Drink ye merry, drink ye thirsty, bring thy crew and revel freely. For on one thing we're all agreed, that Mogo made the finest finest mead. Morgo's mead, the only drink we'd ever need. Take a flask and take a seat, and drink thyself a sweetie treat.
Seen some mean-spirited folk pass through lately. Thought I was rid of those sorts when I left Markarth. Welcome, traveler. Mind yourself in our town. I grew up an orphan on the streets of Markarth. I'd have died there too, but for the kindness of an old warrior named Logrove the Bent. Logrove rescued me and gave me enough money to get out of the city. I followed the Karth River north and came here. When I met Michelle, I knew this is where I belonged. I suppose that's it, really. Both the Imperials and Stormcloaks have sent riders this way, scouting the bridge and the lands nearby. They stayed at the inn but didn't pay. They said soldiers don't need to pay because they're risking their lives to protect us. And that's not all. They took a heap of our lumber, and one tried to have his way with my daughter. They think they can do whatever they want.
I wish I could time travel.
Of course. Every night I pray that we don't get a visit from a dragon, or that two armies don't show up to fight over the bridge. You ask if I'm worried. I'm terrified, if you want the truth of it. But I have to stay strong for my wife and children. All right, then. We aren't a big city like Solitude or Markarth, but we like it this way.
Where is that lazy man? You going to try and sell me something? Well, I ain't interested. My husband owns it. Barely. He'll lose it soon enough. He's behind on his loan payments, but he drinks all his money away just the same. Now we're deep in debt, penniless, and about to lose our sole source of income. No! I openly welcome the presence of armed strangers who have no reason to care about any of us. Of course it bothers me. I'm sure it's only a matter of time until they seize our mill in the name of their war effort. Next thing you know, there'll be more guards, and then we'll lose our homes as well. This is just the start of it. Mark my words. Mm-hmm.
If you know any true sons and daughters of Skyrim, tell them to head to Windhelm. Ulfric Stormcloak wants to see them. Take a look.
Lead on, then.
Of course, Thane. How can I be of service? I am sworn to carry your burdens. Very good, ma'am. What can I help you with today? I am sworn to carry your burdens. Let's go.
We'll show those faithless dogs who this land belongs to.
You
Take
can
a look.
clearly see me standing here.
Fight or die well. Damn faithless Imperials.
Next Imperial.
Keep your eyes open. Skyrim is the birthplace of humanity, the birthplace of honor, and those snowbacked Imperials renounced both when they laid down before the Thalmor. Worse still, to pay for the privilege to keep his throne, the Emperor sells Skyrim and our very gods, Talos no less, to the damn elves. And what did Torygg do? He and the Owls that supported him? They took the Emperor's gold, sold out their people for a slave master's peace treaty. Ulfric did right killing him. Soon we'll rid Skyrim of elves, their bloody Justicars, and the Jarls in their pockets. The whole damn lot of them. And we'll cleave through the Legion to get to them.
I'll take my leave then.
Talos guide you.
What do you want? Out here at work, Hyoran treats me like an equal. Better than most in town. How much? Nah, I don't think so. Trust like that is not freely given. How much? For that price, sure. 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 All right, then.
Do you think the Dwemer could make a lute into a tool for tonal architecture?
Here for work? Get an axe. Bring me all the wood you can chop. Come in, come in. I was just about to take a break.
You betrayed us!
Traitor!
I don't understand beggars. Why sit around asking for money you'll never
Can you
get
come here?
when you can just take
ask
what
you
you
a question.
Traitor!
Some gate guard, you
Lock the city gate.
Get on with it!
Hello there. We haven't met, have we? I'm Fironet, although my friends call me Firo, or Netta for short. Although I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. We just met, so we're hardly friends. Not to mean that we won't be friends someday, or even today. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. Can we start over? Oh, well met as well. I mean, well met and greetings. What I'm trying to say is greetings and well met. Oh, sweet taffy treats, I did it again, didn't I? Well, I was kind of hoping I could. I know, you're probably thinking I've gone mad the way I fumbled through a meeting. And, truth is, I'm perfectly happy just being Netta the milkmaid. Well, my friends have all said that I have a great singing voice. I suppose they should, because that's what friends do. But after hearing it a number of times from different people, you start to think there might be something to it. So here I am.
And that's my stomach rumbling. Luckily, I prepared
Just the lute. Can you imagine me on the drum? I can't.
chorus chitin, sweet or savory.
True. On the one hand, all this anxiety can't be good for my health. Or my skin. On the other hand, at least now I can still cling to hope. Well, the lute I have was my grandmother's. It turns out she was once a bard who studied at the college here in the city. My mother gave it to me before I left. She said she would have done it sooner, but she never realized I wanted to be a bard. I told her that made two of us. Yeah, I still feel rather clumsy with it. Sometimes I feel like it's lost all patience with my fingers. It's a cranky old thing and is quick to get out of tune. But when it's right, it can sing as beautifully as any other.
You play me.
Oh no, I came here on a ship from Lane, near Iliac Bay in Hammerfell. I didn't come alone, though. My fiancé at the time came with me. He stuck it out here in Skyrim for a few months, but eventually boarded a ship headed back home. It's my fault, really. I knew he didn't want to come to Skyrim, and it was probably the guilt that made him follow me here. It's one of those things. If I loved him, I shouldn't have asked him to leave. If he loved me, he wouldn't have asked me to stay. So in the end, I guess neither of us loved each other. But we'd already invested so much time into the relationship, and so he sacrificed everything for me. Well, we didn't have a lot of gold, but my fiancé said he sold the farm so we could sail to Solitude. It was actually kind of romantic. But at some point on the way here, I caught a bad case of rust chancre. I got a rash on my arms and some swelling in my cheeks. But it was the damage to my throat that was the most depressing part. It took months before I could even speak. He got impatient. The truth was, he expected us to be back in Hammerfell before the crops were in season. I should have known he didn't sell the farm. The Bard's College was only an excuse. What I really wanted to do was travel and see the world. I wanted to be somewhere grand, a place where the castles touch the sky. But really, I just wanted to be somewhere different. Somewhere new. Well, I know hope's something you feed children mostly. You tell them to dream big because they can be whatever they want to be. But for them, it doesn't really mean anything. If they say they want to be a bard or a jarl, it's just another answer to a question. They might as well say they want to be an apple. Because it's real. I mean, look at this city. It's so large, so bright, and everything about it seems too impossible to exist. But it's not a dream. It's right there, in front of me. Isn't everybody? But if I had to say what frightens me, it isn't failing as a bard. I'm scared I'll wake up one morning, and there won't be a need for vocal training. I'm worried one day I won't have a reason to borrow Gerard's books. I think about all the wonderful people I've met here, and I'm scared to say goodbye. I know. Eventually, it's going to get awkward. I mean, I've already been here for more than a season. Actually, it might be awkward already. Beyrand asked me the other day what it is I do here. Blacksmiths, you know how they are. No, not yet. I talked to Viarmo, and he said that Pantia Atea would hear my edition when her schedule clears up.
Glory.
Oh, which is completely understandable. I imagine a master vocalist must have a very hectic schedule.
Fresh fish, straight from the fjords.
I'd feel really bad for that person. Sometimes it's easier if you just say no. Especially if he or she doesn't have any talent. Oh, Mudcrabs, are you talking about me? I think I need a drink. Right now, my biggest fear is having my throat go hoarse the day Pantia calls my name. And I still haven't recovered from the bout of rust chancre. One of the bards from the college suggested chewing on Nirnroot, but I wasn't sure if he was serious. You're probably right, but I can't afford something that fancy. And I'd feel bad asking Angeline for a favor, especially after all she did for me when I was sick. You mean like sing? Right here? Okay. But my voice is a little hoarse from practicing. Is there anything in particular you want to hear? You mean like a song that I wrote? Oh, I'm not that talented. I mean, I've written a few lyrics, and there's sort of a melody. How about I sing it, and you can give me some guidance as to whether it's good? Alright, here goes. Snow falls on all the land, all the land, all the land. Snow falls on all the land, shrouded by dark wings. A child prayed unto the gods, say
shining on white sand to Skyrim comes peace.
Thanks. It does seem to feel more natural than some of the other songs the bards sing. Probably because I wrote it for myself. What would you like me to play? Okay. I can play that for you.
Hey, wanna play tag?
I knew myself a maiden fair with emerald eyes and fire red hair. She owned a tavern by the sea and served warm drinks of mellow honey. Drink ye merry, drink ye thirsty, bring thy crew and revel freely. For on one thing we're all agreed, that Mogo made the finest mead.
I thought adventurers were supposed
Mogo's
to
mead, oh Mogo's mead.
Papa says I won't see Rob
you'd
there.
ever need. Take
he
a
wouldn't tell me
flask
why
and
not.
take seed, and drink thyself a sweetie treat.
Straight from the fjords.
There's been rumors of Talos worshippers leaving notes at the Temple of the Divines. I've never seen one myself, though. What would you like me to play? All right, I'll give it a go. Although the Breton was very poor and worked his days at the general store, but every night he'd sneak out back.
I bet my
put
papa
on his
could
bobby
be local.
jester hat.
My papa says I'm gregarious. Just like him. He
Bells
says it
on,
means
he
smart.
jingled and
But my
jangled
brother
with
says
bells on. Forgot his troubles and forgot his woes, as long as his shoes had curly toes. Bells on with bells on, he tossed and tumbled with bells on. Floppy hat.
Hey, wanna play tag?
Pleasure. When
Need
one
something?
man's drunk, he's another man's treasure.
Pardon me.
I've heard mead dries the throat and milk tends to clog it. I've also been trying to drink plenty of water and avoid the hearth. Hopefully it's enough. What would you like me to play?
Fresh fish. Straight from the fjords.
All right, here goes.
Snow falls on all the land. And all the land, all the land.
Hi there.
Snow falls on all
Sure,
the
whatever you
land,
say.
Shrouded by dark wind and shrouded by. Dark wings.
Hey, wanna play tag? Pardon me. Papa says I won't see Rovir anymore. But he wouldn't tell me why not. Hey, wanna play 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Child prayed unto the gods, save the land, save the land.
I'm not interested, Jari. It doesn't matter how many times you ask.
You might want to rethink that. You're missing out on some wonderful...
New in town, right? If you need a place to sleep, head over to the Winking Skeever. We keep a fine inn. I showed up to watch, yeah. I don't know if they were right to execute him for what he did, but I'll tell you something. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Listen, Rogvir and I grew up together. It was us, a few others, and Vivian. Vivian Onus. I have no idea why, but one day I told Rogvir I liked her. It was a stupid thing to do. He mocked me incessantly after that. From that point forward, every time Vivian and I were anywhere close to each other, he made sure to humiliate me. He beat me up, dumped mead on my head, anything he could get away with. Once he even slipped a beehive into my bed. We were children, sure, but Rogvir never outgrew that immaturity or his cruelty. So any talk about him being an honorable Nord? Pure folly. Work in it, I own it. Well, okay. My father owns the Winking Skeever, but it's the family business, so it'll be mine when he kicks off. Jarl Elisif the Fair. Poor woman. Losing her husband and king like that. It was a dark day for us all. Damn! That reminds me. I have a delivery to make to her steward, Falk Firebeard. He ordered a special bottle of Strass Mackay rum. Saved me a lot of trouble. Here, take it to the Blue Palace. I was done talking anyway.
I've got a little work if you're interested, traveler. You're passing through Solitude? Maybe you're looking to make some easy gold, yes? It's easy to find things to sell. Things nobody will miss. Things from underground, or just left lying around in someone's house. I bet the two of us were very alike. So why not take the next step? We can help each other. My sister Dija and I are treasure hunters. We like to collect things. I knew you looked like a clever one. With the war, many more ships come through these docks, loaded with weapons and pay, but few people, and they pass through dangerous waters. We have an interest in one of those boats, the Ice Runner. The Solitude Lighthouse will be guiding it in, but if its fire were to go out, the Ice Runner would run aground. What an interesting idea. I think if someone were to do something like that, there would definitely be a certain amount of loot to be shared. Yes, if someone were to put out the lighthouse fire and then meet me on the docks afterwards, I could certainly direct them to that loot. Don't worry about them. We'll make sure they wash up safe. Maybe they'll even pay us for their heroic rescue from their sad crash. It would be best if we spoke little until you've completed your task. You should see me when you get bored, stranger.
I'm a little busy at the moment. I've got all sorts of errands to run. You were there for Rogvir's execution. Most people head over to the Winking Skeever. If you're not interested in music or drink, you can at least talk to Corpulus. He can fill you in on any of the latest gossip. Perhaps, but necessary. My cousin Fura is somewhere out there in Skyrim right now, fighting Ulfric Stormcloak and his damned insurrectionists. She wouldn't have to be there at all if it weren't for Rogvir. And my aunt wouldn't have to worry about her daughter. You really don't know? He lets Ulfric Stormcloak escape Solitude. Ulfric rides in, murders the High King, and Rogvir lets him ride right back out. People to see and places to go, huh? Later then.
Welcome to Bits and Pieces. I'm sure you'll find what you need here. Viren said you got here just before the execution. Must have been a lovely first sight. Huh. You know, you've got a Welcome. Look around. We've got everything you could want in life. At least, that's what Birand always tells me. No, that was an ugly affair. High King Torrid's death has turned the whole town on its head. Between you and me, he wasn't even that good a king. All of those rambling speeches about the Empire this and the Empire that. Baron's my husband. He works the forge up at Castle Dower. I barely see him nowadays, what with him filling orders for the army.
Less commerce. Less commerce means
Take a
less
look.
money and more starving people. And that means more crime.
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that. Come back to bits and pieces anytime. What are you doing that for?
Oh, we're going this way now?
I'm a little busy at the moment. I've got all sorts of errands to run.
Got lots of things to take care of. What do you need? If you're heading to the Blue Palace, you might want to rethink that outfit.
You look like an adventurous one. I bet we're kindred spirits, you and I.
Need something? You're really going to the Blue Palace? That presents an opportunity. If you are willing to wear one of Radiant Raymond's outfits and speak to the Jarl, I would not only pay you, but let you keep the outfit. Good. Here's the outfit. Try to get Elisif's opinion on it, and if she likes it, mention it's from Radiant Raymond. Nothing at all. It's very nice. If you want something with a little more style, however, you should come by our shop, Radiant Raiment. We could fix you right I up. understand the world of fashion, but I suppose that outfit looks... It's not an insult, just an observation. Maybe we could sell it after you're done. If I were walking around with a wound, I would want you to tell me to see a doctor. Your outfit is something of an open wound, where attire is concerned. Remember Radiant Raiment when you need a change of attire. Yes? Got lots of things to take care of. What do you need?
I am jealous.
Ah, you're a traveler, correct? Have you been to Whiterun? Wonderful. I hadn't really hoped to run into someone who'd been there. My daughter Fura was assigned to Whiterun after she joined the Imperial Army. I was hoping you might have met her. I haven't heard from her lately. I've tried talking to Captain Aldous, but he hasn't been any help. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Anything you can find out from Captain Aldous would be welcome news. No. Mostly I'm just a simple herbalist. Lamy over in Mothall should be able to help you.
Priority over this poor woman dreading the fate of her daughter.
We mostly carry herbs and alchemical ingredients, that sort of thing. Before the war, our stock was mostly used for aromatic use in homes. Yes. These days, we have more people like you coming in, looking for healing and the like. No. Mostly, I'm just a simple herbalist. It's good to see a fresh face. You wouldn't have happened to come from Whiterun, would you? These days, we have more people like you coming in, looking for healing and the like. Oh, welcome to Angela's Aromatics. For needs?
I've never been that fond of alchemy. It doesn't seem right, right?
Take my advice. Never gamble. Damn Ernskar has me in debt up to the eyes. Too many drinking games, too many bets, and I'm too old to ever raise the coin on my own. He's a stubborn oaf. I don't know what good it'll do. You should speak to my daughter, Yvette. She's the brains of the family. A coin or two for a veteran? Spare some gold for a veteran? What? You see a man falling on hard times, and you think he's been like that forever? I was there. I fought in the Great War. I was on the field at Anvil. And when I was struck down, they left me. You understand? They left me for dead. I didn't leave them. It's best you leave me be.
Let's get going. Very good, man. Huh?
I hid here in solitude for a long time. War. War follows a man until it's done with him. You can afford a septim or two. Huh?
Were you aware that blacksmiths don't like you using their smelters? Why didn't you tell me? I got my ear yelled off for not getting permission.
The warehouse is for East Empire Company workers only. Entering without permission is a crime. This is the East Empire Company's central warehouse. All of their shipments go through here. Unfortunately, thanks to some problems they've been having, it hasn't seen much use lately. Either way, it's off limits to you. How should I know? I don't work for them. If you want to help, I suppose you could head to Windelma and talk to Orthus and Dario. He's in charge over there. All right then.
Blessings of the Eight Divines upon you. How may I help? You look troubled. Have you come seeking guidance? It's the peace treaty that ended the war with the elves of the Aldmeri Dominion. The Dominion recognized the heresy of proclaiming Talos a god. Talos was a great man, and a great emperor, but that does not make him a god. No matter how much the Stormcloaks may wish it were so. Those who worship at the shrines will sometimes receive boons from the gods themselves. The nature of the favors varies per deity. Please, feel free to worship at any or all of the shrines. Ah, yes. That once held the shrine to Talos. But the worship of Talos was banned by the White Gold Concordat some time ago. The strong and honorable always carry the blessing of the Eight.
Blessings to you. The Divines are listening.
As High Priest of the Eight Divines, I bid you welcome.
The Divines saved me from the streets, and they can save you from your trials as well.
We welcome you to worship the Eight Divines, freely, openly.
I tend to be very intense in my interests. My father used to say that I was never half full. I was either a full glass or an empty one.
Blessings of the Eight Divines upon you. How may I help? Remind us of our place when we forget.
The Temple of Divines is so beautiful. I wonder if the god's presence is stronger here, and if their magic is more powerful because of it.
help me. You help people, right? That's what you do. My master has abandoned me, abandoned his people, and nothing I say can change his mind. Now he refuses to even see me. He says I interrupt his vacation. It's been so many years. Won't you please help? Oh, you just don't understand. Without him, I am not free. Without him, I am doomed. All of his empire shall fall into chaos. Last I saw him, he was visiting a friend in the Blue Palace. But no one as mundane as a Jarl. No, no. Such people are below him. No, he went into the forbidden wing of the palace to speak with an old friend. Said it had been ages since they had last had tea. Oh, and you'll need the hip vote. It's very important. No entering Pelagius's wing without that.
Oh, Mara, that's disgusting.
Until next time. Please, take pity on an old madman. He is a great man, but one rarely praised. He rules twin empires that span the length and breadth of our minds. All know him, but few can name him. But he has forbidden me from saying his name. He says it distracts him, and woe to those who draw his ire. But you will know him when you see him. He's the one who made me like this. Without his guidance, our homeland is falling apart. North wages war against South. The holy flame flickers and dies. We need his return. Oh, but I'm sure he'll repay you when he comes to his senses. His favor is a powerful, powerful thing, and so very worth any inconveniences. He stays in the Pelagius wing of the Blue Palace. The doors are locked, and only Falk Firebeard can grant entry.
Maybe you need a partner, hmm? Oh, I'd get in trouble for that. It's not allowed. Besides, it's scary in there. Well, I suppose in that case it's okay to let you in. But only briefly. Be careful and come right back. Okay. I need to get back to the palace soon anyway.
Welcome to the Bard's College. I'm the headmaster here. How may I help you? Always a pleasure to meet a prospective bard. You should be aware that many apply, but we accept very few people.
Pardon me, but
when possible, we ask applicants to perform tasks the college needs completed.
Patience, Ildi.
In this case,
study
I
the
do
heroes of the
have a
past so we
task
can have a
befitting
better
an
understanding
aspiring
of the heroes
bard.
of today and tomorrow.
Elisif has forbidden the burning of King Olaf, a festival put on by the Bard's College. We need to change her mind. To convince her, I want to read King Olaf's verse, a part of the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Unfortunately, the verse was lost long ago.
He's making eyes at me. You should
Yes, according to Giraud, our history's keeper, the portion of the Edda dealing with King Olaf might still exist in Dead Man's Respite. I need you to retrieve the poem. I think Giraud here would give you the best explanation of both it and the history of King Olaf's verse. You should speak to him about it. As you may be aware, Elisif's husband, High King Torrig, was recently killed. Elisif mourns her husband deeply, and she feels that a festival that burns a king in effigy is distasteful. I tried to convince her the festival is many centuries old and celebrates solitude, but I need proof. I believe King Olaf's verse will provide that proof. Not much, but as a bard, I find the whole affair depressing. There are no heroes in this war, no winners to be had, and no real conclusion. If you want something a bard can dig into, look to the dragons. 1,000 years from now, Skyrim will have changed rulers dozens of times. But the return of the dragons, that story is once in an era. Not much, to be honest. Their return was a shock to us all. Gerard Germain has some tomes about them in the library if you're interested. I wish you luck in finding the verse.
Good to meet a prospective bard. Well, you've come to the right place.
Pretend to be a political...
At last! I have searched for this drum for 20 years. Knowledge is a bit thin right now. But I can show you some tricks I learned from my days with the army.
To assume that this lost verse is carved in stone? I'm sure if it was written on paper, it wouldn't be quite legible at this point. The Jarl wouldn't send us to look for a pile of dust, right?
He's sending you after King Olaf's verse, then. That's good. We shouldn't leave it lying around now that I figured out where it is. The verse was Svafnir's contribution to the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Each bard adds to the Edda in his or her time. And a very ancient one. The verse criticized the reigning King Olaf. He was so incensed the bard was put to death and all the copies burned. At least, that's what we thought until I translated some ancient texts a year or so ago. We now believe King Olaf buried the truth with the bard. If I'm right, Svafnir and King Olaf's verse lie in Dead Men's Respite, along with the burial chamber of King Olaf himself. Be careful. You might find more than just King Olaf's verse in Dead Man's Respite. Hello, friend.
Being old's not so bad. Daughter keeps me fed, and my working days are done. I'm too old to work. Got nothing better to do than bother an old man?
To be honest, I never really liked the sound of my own voice. But then again, nobody likes the way their voice sounds. Not even bards.
Adventuring is wonderful.
Yeah, I still feel rather clumsy with it. Sometimes I feel like it's lost all patience with my fingers. It's a cranky old thing and is quick to get out of tune. But when it's right, it can sing as beautifully as any other.
Entertainment is not acceptable in class.
He got impatient. The truth was, he expected us to be back in Hammerfell before the crops were in season. I should have known he didn't sell the farm. You're just like my friends back in Hammerfell. They'd always compliment me on how pretty my voice was. Compliments are like sweets. Great the first time, fine the second. But after a while, it doesn't have the same flavor. And the older you get, the less you want them. Right now, my biggest fear is having my throat go hoarse the day Bantia calls my name. And I still haven't recovered from the bout of rust chancre. One of the bards from the college suggested chewing on Nirnroot, but I wasn't sure if he was serious. I suppose it would be quite irritating. I didn't plan on singing with it in my mouth, though. Yeah, I still feel rather clumsy with it. Sometimes I feel like it's lost all patience with my fingers. It's a cranky old thing and is quick to get out of tune. But when it's right, it can sing as beautifully as any other.
Inspiration. Ideas. Come on, adventurer. Throw out some thoughts. My brain is bored.
Safe journeys.
Yes? What is it? And what should I do with it? Work the fields like some common harridan? I know my worth. And for one with my stock, there are only two sensible ways to make a fortune. By marriage, or by blood. And unless some wealthy uncle shows up with gold spilling out of his pockets, the only viable alternative is marriage. What's that supposed to mean? Someone like me? You mean someone who is young, highborn, and educated? I am affable. I am sweet. I am the most devastating beauty Skyrim has witnessed in 5 millennia. And you are evidently blind. I admit, my personality is a bit disarming to some. I am a simple woman who knows what I want, and isn't willing to settle for anything less. You may paint me as selfish for thinking so, but most failed marriages are a product of compromises. Compromises leave you unfulfilled and unsatisfied, and resentful of the spouse who forced you to make them. And who do you think fed the soldiers and reared their mounts? Ashwood Farm had a contract with the Empire, and they paid handsomely. With no Jarl, there were no taxes. And with a military garrison situated in the city, our homes were guarded tighter than the Blue Palace itself. Helgen was indeed a military outpost, and that is precisely what made it profitable. I inherited it, and by that I mean I earned every septum. Yes?
I'm getting on the first boat out of this accursed province. It was a cabin somewhere on the north bank of the White, near Riverwood. A kind old lady was living there.
Or so I thought. She let me stay the night, but told me not to go into the cellar. Naturally, I got curious. There was all sorts of oddities in there. I think she was a witch or a necromancer or something. In any case, I got out of that cellar and never stopped running. I know. I considered going to a face sculptor, but she refused to work with me. You can try her if you want. She lives in some hole in the ground over in Markarth. I don't know about you, but I've got to get as far away from Skyrim as possible. Safe journeys.
The bear said to the girl in the tree, "Come down and we'll play a game." But the girl was clever and said, "You climb up here if you want to play."
Yes? Hail, traveler. What brings you to the tavern? And once you stopped by, then what? You lack purpose, stranger. Maybe I can provide it. A game of sorts. One that both of us can appreciate. We each kill 6 men. First to 6 wins the prize. But to make things more interesting, the targets have to fall within a set of rules. We can go by race, class, or clothing, or even profession. But in the spirit of the Civil War, I propose we go by name. I will kill 6 people, 1 for each letter of Elisif's name. You will do the same for Ulfric, and it must be in order. Meaning the first person you kill must have a name that starts with the letter U. It could be Ulendil, the stable master, Uvra, the vampire, or even Ulfric himself. That is rule number 1. No Nords, save for the first and last letter. Given we're in Skyrim, it would be too easy otherwise. Gold is boring. You win, I fight by your side. I win, you do something for me. Whenever I can find a willing player. You see, I've grown bored by killing people the old-fashioned way. Orcs were never meant to live long lives. I'm guessing this is why. Just an orc with a lot of time to kill. Good. The first one to kill all 6 men and return to this tavern will have won the wager. Their urns will serve as proof. Don't worry about me. I'm merely mulling over my choices. Slow and steady wins the race.
So, what do we have here? Let me guess. By your scent, I'd say you were from the guild. But that can't be true, because I told Mercer I wouldn't deal with them anymore. I don't deal in land or property. Now, if you're looking for goods, you've come to the right person. Oh, wait. Did you say Golden Glow Estate? My apologies. I'm sorry to say I know very little about that, bee farm, was it? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I can't be expected to remember every deal I handle. I don't care what you promise. If I tell you the buyer's name and word gets around, it can ruin me. Well, now that you mention it, there is something I've been trying to get my hands on. I have a buyer looking for a case of firebrand wine. There just so happens to be a single case in the Blue Palace. Bring it to me, and we'll talk about Golden Glow Estate.
A man after my own heart. All it takes to learn his secret is some good wine.
No firebrand wine yet?
Only
How
spilled after I'm a few
disappointing.
bottles in.
Yes?
Did I just put my Elsewhere fondue or my damage health potion into my stew? I'm sure it's fine.
It's funny listening to Viermo calling everyone a fool, or trying to comb that thick hedge of hair. He seems so personable.
Welcome to the Winking Skeever,
Still
friend.
kind of scared to talk to him.
Well, as it turns out, I had a pet skeever when I was a boy, and he used to wink. I thought
You
so.
smell that? Let's see what they're cooking.
Varnius Junius stopped by here on his way to court. He was worried about something. I'm sure Falk Firebeard could tell you what. Magic. You're on the wrong side of Skyrim. You want Winterhold. That college there, they teach it. Otherwise, you can try the Jarl's Wizard. I wouldn't, though. Here, take a look at this. Let's sate that appetite, hmm? Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
There is no way it's the same sword.
Well, have you considered the possibility that he knows?
Nonsense. Why reveal his cards now, after all this time?
You and I both know this game can be played in many different ways. And the letter is mighty suspicious. How do we even know she wrote it? We need to go into that cave and see if she's still alive.
Fine, we'll go. But I suggest you hire a bodyguard just in case. And one more thing.
Hush! I hear someone coming. You, stranger. You look like the adventurer type. We need some muscle to help us save a friend who might be in danger. Fight well, and the job will pay well. Do you think you're up for it?
Space for the gears?
Oh, we will. You may not be aware of this, but my friend here is an heir to a substantially large fortune. We will want to do our best to stay on his good side. We aren't fighting saber cats, if that's what you're asking. Whoever it is walks on two legs, eats, and empties its bowels just like us. More importantly, it bleeds like us. That should be enough to keep your tunic dry. You ask a lot of questions for a hireling. All you need to know is that she is, or else we wouldn't be paying you. Good. A couple of well-placed swords will make things, as your ilk are fond of saying, right as Rain's hand. The place she's hiding out is a cave called Pure Water Run, just outside of Markarth. We'll meet you there.
If I were any good at magic besides healing, telekinesis would
Excuse
be my
me,
go-to spell.
but I don't talk to the help.
Just magic it over.
You know you can afford a septim or two. Spare some gold for a veteran? It's best you leave me be.
Come in and shut the door.
La 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 la. Oh, hello. Sorry, stretching out the vocal cords.
Oh, what delight. Another charming customer.
By the guts. This is the most
It is when my
wonderful
customers
stuff
waste
of
time
Skyrim.
chatting and not
Such a
buying.
fine selection of clothes. All you need now is a party to wear
Let's see if we can't find an outfit that suits you. Finally.
Welcome to the center of the world. Or at least my brother Eriker's world. Yes, my older brother, and the person you probably want to be speaking to right now. But really, since Torig's death, Falk Firebeard wields the true power of the Jarl's Court. My brother is nothing more than a pompous little fop. Oh, if you're looking for a good attitude, go see the bards. They'll fake it for you if nothing else. If you're looking for truth instead, see Noster. He's a good example of what life has to offer. And if you're just looking to feel good, go get some spiced wine from Yvette. But whatever you do, just leave me alone. Not my problem.
Spare some gold for a veteran? Can you spare a septum? Lost an eye during the Great War, or I'd earn it myself.
I'm a
It's
little
best you
busy at the moment. I've got all sorts of errands to run.
most inventions are designed to make life easier, but I like to create things just to see if it's possible.
By the gods, what manner of power is that?
Here we go! At last, a worthy opponent! No more!
Not bad. Let's see if they have anything worthwhile.
Excuse me, but I don't talk to the hell.
Good.
a
We cannot tarry for long. The situation may already be dire.
She
Safety in
champions
numbers,
betrayal.
You
I'm
of
certainly
all
not a
people
fan,
should
at
know
least.
that. Hopefully this overgrown mudcrab empire will know how to keep its mouth shut. Helia and Remiel. What is the meaning of this?
It's simple, Uncle. If you remember the story of our ancestor.
Helga? Possible. Face, maybe. But everything else?
On the contrary, there is a dark elf in his very hold who claims that with the right face, she can turn men into women and Nords into elves. I am really proof that such sorcery is possible.
You're a monster, boy, and I will slay you like one.
Okay, Nars. If you could stop leading us into danger, I'd be a hypocrite to say that, so never mind.
I apologize for the deception. I wasn't sure if you were one of Vartheim's agents. I suppose I owe you an explanation. Contrary to what I just told Vartheim, I am not Baynhild, nor am I Pelgert. While I did have my face altered to pose as his bodyguard, it was no sorcery. My real name is Serwyn. I'm a distant cousin of Pelgert's. With Nords, one's ancestors can be kept alive through stories. But for we Altmere, it was only just yesterday that we lived it. I was but a child when the sword was given to my uncle's love, but I remember the sparkle of its edge was as bright as the midday sun. Then, as it is now, the blade serves as a symbol uniting our two families. Vartheim was planning on selling it for a cheap profit. That was merely a trick to fool Vartheim's agents. When you retrieved the sword, the first thing the Nord did was meet Baynhild in this very location. It was rather serendipitous that Vartheim was working with a female high elf, because it allowed me to easily adopt her persona. A dark elf named Etharl. She lives in a quiet barrow near Reachwood Eyrie. Fortunately, her practice was conspicuous enough to where Vartheim's spies would never catch wind of our trap. Pelgert has already booked us passage on a ship heading to the Isle. He has never met the home of his better half, so it's incumbent upon his cousin to show him. He would have liked for you to have a reward. Here, take this gold for your troubles. And safe travels. It would be nice if I could finally get out of this infernal cold.
Yes, my Thane?
A coin or two for a veteran?
I'm at your
It's
service.
Not much to ask.
I'll guard you with my life.
You know you can afford a septim or two.
Glory only awaits those.
Used to be an
Wish I could learn some of that charm. I'm just good with bows, not people.
You'd make a better Imperial Ranger than me. I may have charmed the locals, but my fellow soldiers hated my waggling tongue.
Ah, yet another new face. I'm from Hammerfell, you see. I can hardly keep track of all the people I've been meeting. Aye, but I'll be here in solitude for longer still. Fiata's skill as a Fletcher drew me to this place. I wanted to learn. And there is still much of Skyrim I wish to see. I hear there is a city, Windhelm, that is nearly white with... what do you call it? Oh yeah, snow. And far to the west lies a ruin, Volskag. Inside there's said to be a wall, black as night, and it speaks in the ancient dragon tongue. There are wonders in this place I never dreamed imaginable. Where the dragon attacked? We've heard rumors of death and fire from the skies, but no real news. Then we should soon be selling arrows by the bushel. A sword is no good against a dragon. Good to talk to a fellow traveler.
A coin or
Welcome
two
to the
for a
center
veteran?
of the world. Or at least my brother Eric's.
Unless we have specific business, I'm not interested. Debts are debts. Either he pays them, or his kind do. All right. Have it your way. Tell Artiev to forget about the debt. Keep your sword, Armstrong.
Plenty of fresh fish for you.
I like fish. I'm buying a fish for Noster. He likes fish. A war veteran should be respected.
Go fiddling with any locks around here, we're going to have a real problem. The winking skeever's got warm beds and cold mead. You look like you could use both.
Blessings of the Eight Divines upon you. How may I help?
Being old's not so bad. Daughter keeps me fed, and my working days are done. I'm too old to work, but that don't make me too old to drink. You've done a fine thing for me. You know, I used to be quite a warrior in my day. Let me show you a thing or two. Always good talking to you, friend.
May knowledge of your divinity carry us through our daily trials. Blessings to you. The divines are listening.
You look troubled. Have you come seeking guidance?
The waiting. The insufferable waiting. If those rebels think they can best us, they have another thing coming. Generally, posting information is need to know only. If you want to know that bad, then fine. The daughter was sent to Whiterun. The skirmishes there have been violent. The Whiterun legate, he needed to know the Stormcloak positions. He sent out a party to scout the area. They happened upon a large force. I'm told none of them made it back. Private Morard, Angela's daughter, was in that scouting party. She needs to be told.
Oh no. Why do we have to be the ones to tell her? Aldous should be the one telling her. It's not our job to make old ladies sad. What if she starts crying?
You should see me when you get bored, stranger.
Lisette has such a calm and soothing voice. She's like that in real life, too. Not that her singing
If you're
isn't
heading
real.
to the Blue Palace, you might want to rethink that outfit. Remember radiant raiment when you need a change of attire.
Youngest bard at the Bard's College, at your service.
Disrespect the law and you disrespect me.
When this war is won, I will have my parade.
Yes, my Yara.
Maybe you need a partner, Just picture it. 2 women, the dusty road, strapping men at every tavern, a fortune in gold to be claimed.
There's something...
Oh, did you need something?
I'm hesitant to share it, but I feel that I must.
Speak your mind, Briley.
Someday, I'll be a gallant heroine. You make it look so
I support the Empire,
appealing.
as we all do. However, I fear General Tullius is underestimating the Stormcloaks. Too often, the General has lost good soldiers because he did not take Ulfric and his men seriously. If this continues, and the worst comes to pass,
We need someone to
Solitude
investigate.
will pay the price.
Then
the Empire
we
is
will immediately
headquartered
send out
here,
a
after
legion
all.
to scour the cave and secure the town. Halfingar's people will always be safe under
Your
my
Eminence,
rule.
my scrying has
What have I
suggested
told you
nothing
about
in the area.
gossiping?
Dragonbridge is
Besides,
under
they're
Imperial
standing right
control.
there.
This is
Hush.
likely superstitious nonsense.
Perhaps a more tempered reaction might be called for?
Oh, yes, of course, you were right. Falk, tell Captain Aldous I said to assign a few extra soldiers to Dragonbridge.
Thank you, Jarl Elisif. But about the cave?
I will have someone take care of the cave as well, Varnius. You can rest easy. You're dismissed.
Steward Falk, I have a task for you. I want to begin stockpiling food and water in the event we come under siege. and I would
It's
like you
nearly
to
time
oversee
to
this
collect
work
taxes
personally.
on your
The
property.
Imperials are good for business, and business is good for Skyrim.
Each home for an assessment.
Briling's obsession with
that
honor
time
and
again
tradition
already?
is quaint,
Very
but
well.
politically
Let's meet
irrelevant.
this evening and make the arrangements. Oh, well done.
I'm a Thane. In the future, you may want to gain that information before talking with someone. Risk of looking like an idiot and all that.
Or you're likely to lose it.
Oh, most certainly. At least when Elisif herself asks.
Stop it, both
If
of
you're
you.
inquiring whether
Acting
we
like
have
children.
concerns about her age and inexperience, let me put it this way. The Thanes have every confidence in General Tullius's leadership.
Being a bard, I have an idea that might help.
Good. We've wasted enough time here.
No good at singing.
I think we shall have a grand parade and let General Tullius march.
I can always find time to share a word with a warrior.
I understand what's best for Solitude, and Jarl Elisif knows it. Half of the businesses in town owe me money, and I own most of the rest. I practically run Solitude already. Got
Many
something
condemn
to
the
say?
Stormcloaks, but I refuse. This god-forsaken war is dividing our people and destroying our land.
I'm all ears.
Do you have business with the court? I am the Jarl's steward. If you have court business to tend to, you talk to me. That remains to be seen. By rights, she has a legitimate claim as High Queen of Skyrim. But we must have the support of the other Jarls for that claim to have any meaning. Should they accept her rule, we will have peace. Of course he does. What sort of a question is that? Maybe you've been listening to Eriker. There's been loose talk among some of the Thanes, and I suspect he's the cause of it. You'll pay those rumors no heed if you wish to retain your welcome in this city. She may be young, but Elisif is the Jarl by right. And here in Skyrim, if nothing else, we respect the traditions of our fathers' fathers. You do well to remember that. You mean the Dragon Bridge issue? I'll be honest with you, I was planning to let that go. Varnius is a bit jumpy at the best of times. There have been reports of weird happenings near Wolfskull Cave. Travelers disappearing, odd lights. I suspect wild animals, or perhaps bandits. I don't think it's worth our time with the war going on. But if you want to clear out the cave, I'll make sure you're repaid for your work. The cave has a bad history. Long ago, Potema the Wolf Queen used it for necromantic rituals. That's where it got the name. That was over 500 years ago. Nothing much down there now, but everyone's always convinced the cave is haunted. All right, the rum. Thank you. I developed a taste for it after a fair-weather trip to Hammerfell. Here, this is for you. Feel free to return to me with questions. The Blue Palace is an open forum.
If you've come to file another complaint, I won't deign to hear it. If my presence is that much of an issue, tell it to the steward. Everyone whines and moans about how loosely I flap my tongue, as if Thane Erikur's eccentric love life were not a matter of public knowledge. And for the last time, I am not a Thalmor agent here to destabilize the court. You're thinking of my terribly unfashionable twin sister, Mithriel. My name, on the other hand, is Nithriel, and I am both an attendant to the court and someone worthy of your
I'm afraid you
confidence.
must learn to accept this.
Are you daft? I don't have a sister, it was a joke. The cleverness of which was apparently lost on you. Oh, it seems the people of Skyrim appreciate puns about as little as they appreciate a good man. Just the other day, I was telling Sybil about how what that Virinet girl put her poor fiancé through is despicable. And the way Vivienne Onis treats poor Sorex, constantly flirting with other men at the skeever. Tusk, tusk. That is not behavior becoming of a lady. Although in her defense, it's not as if there are other inns in which to meet eligible bachelors. Nor should Sorex continue to fawn over a woman that denied him decades ago. There is a threshold, after all, when a childhood infatuation stops being cute, starts being creepy. Sorex doesn't seem to be aware of this. Oh, I don't know. Brave males are often dead males, or so confident they don't heed anyone's advice but their own. But I suppose we all have our own preferences. I'm more curious about yours. Does the lady fancy a strong, coarse male? Oh, you're no fun at all. For a second, I thought you were being serious. Oh, very well then.
Steward, I have
Leave
an
me
idea
in
that might help
suspense.
bolster the morale of our people in this difficult time.
I know.
I think we shall have
I'll give you a good polish next time
and
we
let
rest,
General
Scrap.
Tullius march his troops from the Blue Palace to Castle Dower in all their finery.
Atta is a menacing one, isn't he? I suppose it's part of the job description. Men like that are typically kittens behind closed doors. Now, Yorn is a different story altogether. He reminds me of the sort of man whose wife disappears mysteriously, and all his neighbors are just shocked that he would be a suspect.
Your stubborn Nord mind. But when this war is won, I will have my parade.
For one, I'm an excellent listener. People are willing to divulge things to me without even taking into account whether I can provide sage advice. Second, I'm delightful to speak with. Not only do I have interesting rumors to share, but I can relate them in ways that spark your imagination. For instance, if I were to tell you Elisif trusts Folk Firebeard with everything, you would likely nod your head and praise the steward. Then we'd begin to dwell on the awkward silence that followed, and proceed to start hating each other and ourselves for not being more interesting. Now, if I were to tell you that Jarl Elisif trusts Folk Firebeard with everything, and perhaps curl my lips into a smile, I imagine you would have little difficulty formulating a reply.
People in Wayrest don't like red guards much.
Fair is a word rarely applied to politics.
Oktiev-san saw the face of
I'm
one of
afraid
the
you
8
must learn
at the
to
skeever again. Today it was the face of Julianos in his suit. Yesterday it was Dubella's figure on a towel stain. The day before that, he saw Stendar's visage on a piece of mouldy bread. Roland refuses to dignify Oktiev's claims with a response, as he believes they're part of a scheme to pay off his gambling debts. But Silana is such a trusting young woman. She doesn't see that her pity only serves to reinforce his behavior. One of these days, Oktiev is going to ask Silana to inspect the stain of Akatosh on his undergarments, and maybe then she'll draw a line. According to Ildi, her and the Skeever Bard have a bit of a rivalry going on. Although a rivalry typically requires two willing combatants. I'm afraid the Breton doesn't even know Ildi exists. Who would? The way she refuses to socialize with anyone. For one, second, I'm delightful to speak with. Not only do I have interesting... For instance, if I were to tell you, then... Now if I imagine you would have little... You ever notice that Katla and Greta wear the exact same clothes, and the exact same hat, and the exact same face? And you never see them in the same room together. All I'm saying is, their husbands need to have a talk.
Steward, I have an idea.
Aya never used to cover her hair. Thank Debella she does now. Her locks and her makeup were telling two different stories, and both of them awful.
What a fine idea, my Jarl.
Ever notice how pale the court mage is? I know Sybil never leaves the palace during the day, but that in itself is quite strange.
Fighting battles against
And it gets stranger. She
Jarl.
never eats.
A parade would make
And
you
some
an
of the
easy target
servants
for a
have
storm
reported
cloak
odd
assassin.
noises
Safe that
emanating from her quarters in the dead
very
of
well.
night.
I can see there's no
Given her
change in
penchant for
stubborn
hunting
lord
vampires,
But when
some
the
of the
score is won,
servants think
I will
we
have
may
my
be
point.
dealing with a werewolf.
Yes.
Not that I believe anything of the sort. Daria has put on quite a bit of weight in the past month. It's no wonder she's so bitter, especially when Taria looks so fabulous. Ever notice how pale the... And it gets... Given her penchant for hunting vampires, some of the... As a court attendant, I mostly deal with acquiring clothes, silverware, and other accessories from merchants both local and overseas.
Steward, when is my
The Blue
appointment?
Palace cannot have its residents dressed like common rubes. And by
I'm
rubes,
afraid
I
he's
mean
had
the
to
lesser
reschedule
nobles
my
that
race.
inhabit the other
By all
homes.
accounts, waging war
Unfortunately,
takes its
much of
every
the clothing I had recently shipped in by the East Empire Company was deemed too impractical given
I'm afraid
Skyrim's
he can't.
frigid weather.
This authority comes from the Emperor, who you also serve.
Nothing like these peasant bodices the Nords wear. They were garments truly fit for the divine
Hardly
race.
seems fair.
You should have seen the
Fair
quality
is a
of
word
lace I
rarely
had
applied to
brought in from the
politics.
Somerset Isle. Silks
afraid you
and
must
linens
learn to
embroidered with silver and gold. It's rather difficult to feel like oneself, let alone a divine wearing these thick coats and furs. I suppose I will have to make my face all the more stunning to compensate. Indeed, they asked me what I saw, and I told them what I heard. Ulfric Stormcloak shouting King Toric to pieces! And I do mean that literally. From what I understand, there were chunks of the High King all over the walls of the throne. General Tullius, meanwhile, was screaming at Aldis for letting Ulfric escape. Naturally, Aldis made Rogvir a scapegoat for his own ineptitude. Which is laughable. Rogvir couldn't even find his own bottom, let alone an escape route past the castle guard. According to my sources, the only person to leave the castle was an Argonian male who took the carriage by the stables later that night. Alone, this would mean little. But consider this. When Ulfric shouted Toric to death, some claim his skin burst open to reveal a pattern of scales. Not the scales of an Argonian, but that of a dragon. As much as a Khajiit is a cat, a Dunmer is a Daedra, and a wood elf is a tree. So yes, that's exactly what he is. Well, it was rather tragic what Ulfric did to Dorig, but not nearly as tragic as the prehistoric cave garments with which he dresses his generals. The uniforms of his lower-ranked soldiers are bad enough, given their redundancy. But I mean really, a bear's head? I know third-era fashion is all the rage these days, but I think you have to go back a couple of millennia to find a time when animal heads were stylish. If Elisif mourned anything, it was the death of good taste under Stormcloak rule. But I suspect her husband was important too. Well, I can't say all this melancholy has been good for her complexion, but she's still quite fetching. You may not be aware of this, but it requires a great deal of work to live up to the moniker Elisif the Fair. The last thing a lady wants is to have that name said in jest. That still implies that gossip itself is a negative, akin to a paper cut or a particularly vexing housefly. However, I believe it ties the community together. The more we know about each other, the more intimate our relationships. Gossip is inclusive. It allows outsiders such as yourself to easily join the conversation. Spend an hour with me, and you'll know everything about everyone, and truly feel like one of the locals. Then allow me to provide you with an extra token, free of charge. I have it on good authority that Ericur's wizard, Meleran, has some rather disturbing habits. One of which is standing over his master's bed while he sleeps. I'm not at liberty to say from whom I received this information, but you can take a guess. I'm not a gossiper, just gregarious. I don't embellish. It's just the facts don't convey the spirit of what really happens. I'm not high maintenance, just high-minded. When I petition for funding for a party or festival, or new robes for the Thanes, I do so with purpose. Nobles cannot simply skulk around like common thieves. We must present ourselves in a fashion befitting our rank. Oh, you jest. But what I do isn't overstating the facts. It's investigating them. If, every night, strangers walk in and out of a large house with no windows, I don't need to enter the premises to tell you it's a brothel. Nor do I need more than one glance at you to see you're an adventurer with a hunger for battle and the flesh. Tell me, what sort of person does the stranger fancy? My apologies. I didn't mean to presume. Oh, you'll find that there are many in Solitude who share your particular inclinations. Offhand, I know Yordis and Tahari might be interested, but there's a few others I suspect. Isley, for instance. She seems like the type. Some people say Yvette Sand too, but I'm not inclined to agree. I have a sense for these things that others don't. Let me know if you want to get anything off your chest.
Do you have business with the court? The Jarl is not to be disturbed with common affairs of court. You direct those concerns to me. Feel free to return to me with questions. The Blue Palace is an open forum.
If I needed something from you, you would know it. I have no time or patience for a student. Perhaps the College of Winterhold will grant you admission. I can teach you, but I won't be held responsible for what you do with the knowledge. I was, to my shame. The whole court was in attendance. I've seen much in my time, but that was a gruesome day. Ulfric showed up at the Gates of Solitude requesting an audience. We thought he was here to ask Torg to declare independence. By the time we realized Ulfric was here to challenge Torg, it was already too late. By Nord custom, once the challenge was issued in court, Torg had no choice but to accept. Had he not, Ulfric would have had cause to call a new moot and a new vote for High King. Torg had some martial training, of course, but it mattered little that day. When Ulfric's lips parted, when he unleashed the power of the Thu'um, that shout, that ancient and terrible tongue, ripped Torg asunder. I was a member of the court during the reign of Torg's father. It was Torg who appointed me to the position. I like to think I've aged well. I'm certainly wiser than I once was, and I know when one should speak, and when one should hold their tongue. I had you figured for a mage. I think you'll appreciate this. Take care of yourself, and always remember, the world is ripe with people looking to spill your blood.
Do you have business with the court?
Be quick.
Please
I have
address
little
all
patience
questions
for
to the
mundane
steward,
concerns.
Folk Firebeard.
The Jarl is not to be disturbed with common affairs of court. You direct those concerns to me.
What can I do? As you wish, my Thane.
Did you need something, Nar? I'll be around. Talk to you later, then.
Something on your mind? Well, we have traveled for quite some time from one end of Skyrim to the other, and I have found you are a very capable fighter. As I am still an amateur, I was wondering if perhaps you could give me some instruction. I was just thinking, I developed most of my habits fighting alone. Now that you are here to save me, I thought maybe I should change my tactics. I usually cast Oak Flesh, but it takes up nearly half of my magicka. With you fighting beside me, maybe I should use an Ice Spike instead to slow our enemies. You don't think I should use more support magic? Maybe heal your wounds or use a courage spell? But then you maybe will have the courage to tell me to go away. And that is something we will both regret. I'll stand guard until you get back.
I await your order. As you command, my Thane.
Who's got your back? I do. Lead the way, my hero.
You know, Nar, I am looking forward to our next Dwemer ruin. We're going to another one, right? Alright, I'm ready-ish.
Sybille Stentor has a grasp of magical theory that I would never have expected from a human, even a Breton. No doubt most folk in Skyrim consider the dragons terrifying. I find them wondrous.
Hello, friend.
What is it? Happy hunting.
Welcome to the Winking Skeever, friend.
Ah, I see you have the wine. Hand it over, and we'll talk. Good. Can't have the buyer getting impatient and looking elsewhere for this, can we? Here, take this. I certainly can't use it, but I suppose I need to pay you something for the goods. Not at all. I consider it an investment in prolonging my life. As far as Golden Glow Estate goes, I'll tell you what I know. I was approached by a woman who wanted me to act as the broker for something big. She flashed a bag of gold in my face and said all I had to do was pay Arangoth for the estate. I brought in the coin and walked away with her copy of the deed. Not at all. I tend not to ask too many questions when I'm on the job. I'm sure you understand. However, I did notice she was quite angry, and it was being directed at Mercer Frey. In this business, we rarely deal in names. Our identity comes from how much coin we carry. Look, that's all I know. I never promised you I'd have all the answers. Now, since our transaction is done, I'll be on my way. Our business has concluded and you're standing in my way. You again. We have nothing else to discuss. Now move.
Yes? Two hands are better than one.
Oh, what a prick! He conned us out of some good wine, and now off he goes.
Yes, my Thane. I will remain on guard here.
Something on your mind? I'll stand guard until you get back.
Oh, I hope I didn't offend Zora. You don't think I... You're going ahead. Be safe.
someone there? Damn you!
Was that?
Shit! That's all you've got? Prepare to die!
What was that?
Thought I heard something.
Is someone there? Time to end this little game.
No! You won't leave Skyrim alive!
Find you. harlot. That rat in mine.
Could be anyone.
One must have stepped up.
Never should have come here.
Fight back. Your shroud.
Not the best you can do.
Shall feel the dead.
Is someone there?
Some live among the
I could just stand up.
You can't win this!
Does someone live among the dead? Does someone live among the dead? I sense. A presence. Time to end your foolish charade. I sense a presence.
The endless sleep comes for us all.
That's your back! Don't set anything on fire, all right?
I sense a presence. Death comes for the cat.
there's no need to do anything rash. This isn't as bad as it seems. Now, there's no need to do anything rash. This isn't as bad as it seems. I was gonna tell Mercer about everything, honestly. Please, he'll have me killed. All right. It's Carlia. Her name is Carlia. Mercer never told you about her? Carlia is the thief responsible for murdering the previous guildmaster, Gallus. Now she's after Mercer. Help? No. Look, I didn't even know it was her until after she contacted me. Please, you have to believe me. I don't know. When I asked her where she was going, she just muttered, "Where the end began." Here, take the Golden Glow estate deed as proof. And when you speak to Mercer, tell him I'm worth more to him alive. You needed to know more? You needed to know more? Now you're speaking my language. Tell you what, if you need any stolen goods fenced, you bring them to me, and I'll pay you good money for them. Consider me your new friend in the north. Consider it a gift to ensure your silence. That thing seems to be bringing me nothing but trouble anyway. Carlia didn't even want it. She wanted to keep the sale a secret. I can see how well that went. I asked her the same thing, and she wouldn't come out and tell me. But now that I know who she is, I'd say she's trying to hit the Thieves Guild where it hurts. Maven Blackbriar needs Golden Glow's honey for her mead. She's been using the guild to keep the estate under her thumb. If the owner cuts the guild out of the picture, He's cutting Maven out of the picture, which she can't afford. If I was Maven, I'd blame the guild for weakening and not being able to handle the place. Exactly. For the guild to survive, they need Maven's support. This Carlia must have spent a lot of time and resources planning this. Now you won't forget to tell Mercer I cooperated, will you? You needed to know more?
Time to end this game.
Yeah! You talk to Ed Brothers. Deja has no words for you.
You probably want someone else. I'm just the stable boy. Talk to Gaiman if you want a horse, or Katla if you're looking for work. I can't help you. I hate it. Everyone feels sorry for me, so they don't treat me too bad, but... Both my parents were in the Legion. There was an ambush. Katla said she'd feed me if I could make myself useful. I'd take care of the animals, run errands, that kind of thing. I guess it could be worse, but I'm sick of sleeping outside with the horses. I want a real home, real parents, not this. Both my parents were in the Legion. There was an ambush.